Hello, friends. So I did a little poll on Twitter about what you wanted to see on Patreon now, and I gave you the option of deciding on a YouTube cover, a new writing, or a video vlog. And I got like 33% on each of them, so it didn't help me decide, but in the end it was like 2% more on a video blog, so here it is. And since it is summer in Sweden and I for a short time has access to this really beautiful garden, I decided to do this vlog in this pretty little garden. It's pretty cool. So it's actually perfect to do it today because this morning I have started to record new podcast episodes. Maybe you noticed that I stopped the podcast for a little bit, and I meant to do that. I wanted it to be like season 1 is over, and then it's been a bit of a pause, and now I am preparing for the launch of season 2, which will be perfect to launch in time for all the new music, you know. But yeah, I probably should have like announced that the season was over, because I just kind of stopped. But if you have missed it, you know that there are new episodes coming and they are better than ever. So today I had the most amazing conversation for the podcast with a songwriter. First of all, I have to say, I don't know where I'm supposed to look. Are you over there? Now I think I'm looking into your eyes. Alright, I'm gonna look straight into the phone. I'm sorry if it looks like I'm not looking at you, but I'm looking at myself. Anyway, yes, Nate Maingard, who is, I think that's how you say his name, an amazing, independent, vagabonding troubadour, songwriter, singer-songwriter. And he has sort of taken a lot of similar steps as I have. He has traveled around to play house concerts. He's funding his career on Patreon, doing a lot of live streams online. And it was so great to talk to him. And I genuinely mean, it was one of the most amazing conversations I've ever had, including all of the real conversations I've had, because we aligned on so many points in life. And we didn't even really talk about songwriting or music, or we talked about life and the stages of ages and connectedness and spiritual practices, and it was amazing. So I wanted to elaborate a little bit on those thoughts. You're gonna of course hear the episode when it's out, so you're gonna hear this before the podcast episode. So it's gonna be a little bit like a preview of what to come in the podcast, but I'm also gonna talk about things that got me thinking afterwards. So I even got myself a little cheat sheet because I got so many notes and thoughts about it. So one thing that we talked about that I wanted to talk to you about was this thing about aligning yourself with the natural flow of things. And by that I mean, we both said it's so easy to feel like you should have certain things done by this and this and this and that. And for example, I said I had this feeling last year that I have to finish the record now. I have to push out another record because I haven't released something in a few years and people are gonna forget about me, and I have to finish it, just push it out. But there was something in me that said, I'm not ready yet. Like, I have to live with those songs a little bit more. I have more to learn, and I am in a phase of transformation, so I need to go through that, and then I will be able to make the record as it's supposed to be. And it was hard to hold back, but something in me told me I should. And I'm so glad I did, because this year that I did give myself, so many things have just aligned by themselves. Like, musicians just naturally appeared in my life and are playing on the record, and songs just naturally became recorded and produced, and I met people who helped me along the way, and I feel better in myself, and I wrote new songs that I love way more than the ones that I left behind last year. And there is definitely something about giving yourself the time to align with when you're supposed to be a certain thing, you know? And then we came into this beautiful thing of Nate told me that he has read that life flows in 7-year cycles. So every 7th year, you know, that is like a scientific thing that I also read, that every 7th year your cells have completely exchanged. You know, your cells are constantly dying and growing new ones, and in 7 years you are a complete new body, really. And he told me about, he has felt like from then 21 to 28 he had one chapter of his life and he was going through something specific, and now he's 35, and he said from 28 to 35 he had another chapter of his life, and now he's feeling like he's entering something new within himself. And my heart was racing when he said that, because that's exactly what I have felt the last year or 2 years, that I embarked on a journey when I was, you know, even younger, but from 21 to 28, like I am now, I've had something that I've dealt me, but now I feel like I'm entering a new chapter in my life, and I'm dealing with other things, and it's a completely new me. I really do feel like it's a new me. And what was so magical was, this is not a new thing. Many of you probably know about this, but there are these old archetypes that Carl Jung wrote about and talked about, that first of all you can put it in real life, that every human being is one certain archetype, or is living a myth that has been lived over and over again. But it's also a very sort of known practice when you're studying storytelling or script writing or novel writing, to learn the archetypes, because every story needs the hero, the villain, the friend, the helper, like all of those different archetypes. But I have never really put myself into it too much. But the other day, I have had a few weeks where I just felt a little bit lost. Like, I have felt good about certain things, like I've written a lot and I've been inspired, but I also felt a little bit lost about my future. It feels good to know that I'm gonna work on the record and put that out, but I felt a little bit like, okay, but after that, what happens to my life after that? And then I did like a test, you know, on the internet, what archetype I am. I was just tired one night, and I was just feeling not good that night, and I wanted to not do anything specific, and I did that test, and I got that I was the archetype the seeker. And I was like, well, that's cliche. And I started reading, and the description of that archetype was like, oh my god, that is like me, like, and it was specific things, and I wanted to read it to you, because the thing is, when you come across something that so aligns with exactly who you are, what I felt was that, okay, I'm the archetype the seeker. I am on the seeker's path. And since my description so far in life fits perfectly with what they say the seeker is, I have done everything right in my life. And I just need to trust that I am on the right path and I am doing the right thing, because I'm on the seeker's path. And the times that I am feeling lost is when I think that I should be on someone else's path, you know? But if I just embrace that, no, I am on the seeker's path, this is what I have to do, this is my place in the universe, we need seekers in the universe, then I just felt so good all of a sudden. Like, all that anxiety about the future was gone, because I felt like I just need to embrace my seeker's path. So I wanted to read a little bit from this description that I found, because it was so profound. So it started like this. Let's see. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, because that's boring for you guys. So it says like this. Through their childhood and teenage years, much like the magical child, the seeker is forever looking for a doorway to another world. the back of the wardrobe in the hope of the opening to Narnia. The seeker is unsatisfied by his siblings' interests and his teacher's words. Well, that's me. And then it says, the seeker is always looking for the gap, the place where reality splits open and illusion is turned on its head. She has a broad imagination and drinks hungrily from many sources, from the wisdom of her unique or worldly wise teachers, to her access to the written word. Like, from the wisdom of her unique and worldly wise teachers, basically everything I have learned, my parents have been the philosophers I have read, Seneca and Joseph Campbell and Marcus Aurelius. And I think I have access to the written word. Okay, one more paragraph, the most profound one. Let's see. Then it goes on saying, some of them will stop this urge to seek something new, but the brave ones, the ones who are serious about transforming their desires, they will go out and physically travel the world and collect experiences. But then, slowing down a little, the seeker begins to reflect. As they move into their late 20s, they have now obtained enough wisdom to realize that the expanses of land and sea on this planet can never entirely satisfy their thirst and love of adrenaline and knowledge. And so the seeker returns to the library. And then it says, literally it says like this: yoga and meditation, or the performances and rituals of certain cultures, may bring them closer to the divine. The ancient wisdom and inner knowing they so long, blah, 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 they begin to travel in towards the light. And that is like exactly what I have felt, that I spent, and that comes back to this 27-year cycles, you know, that the seeker goes the first in their young 20s, like I did. They have this huge urge for something more, you know, like there must be something more to just this human existence. And we go out physically and seek experiences, and we try to find something, but we don't really know what we're trying to find, which is why we're always a little bit unsatisfied. Like, even if we're having everything we need and we have friends or happiness and health and things around us, we don't know what we're missing. We're seeking something otherworldly, so we can keep searching forever. But then in the next cycle now, from 28 to 35, the seeker realizes that what she's seeking is within. So he or she returns to studying the literature, to practicing yoga and meditation, practices that are inwards, you know. And I feel like maybe that's what I have started to do more and more. I spend so much time going outside, and now I have found my peace more and more inside myself, just lying on the grass rather than being on a plane above the grass. Anyway, it was just so profound, and it was so perfect. I found this, a few days ago, and it hit me so hard, and I was like, oh, I feel lost because I think I should be on someone else's archetype path, but I have done everything right. I am exactly in my late 20s now, finding meditation and yoga like the seeker you're supposed to do, And it also goes on in that article, and it was so beautiful, saying that it's so important that when you think you have found your archetype, to not be scared of it, because the world needs all kinds of archetypes. And the seeker, for example, are people like Jack Kerouac, and I can't remember what else they said. They had some examples here. I want to find it. Maybe I can't find it now. Anyway, it was so beautiful. They said everyone's sometimes doubting the path they're on, but we need all kinds of archetypes. So if you are sure that you are a seeker, embrace it, because the world needs you to take that place. That's why you were created. And I found it a few days ago, and today I had this conversation with Nate, and he sort of brought up this 7-year cycle, and I was like, it's like aligning so crazy. It was so perfect. So I can't wait for you guys to hear that podcast episode. And yeah, that's what I wanted to tell you about. I hope you have heard everything I've said. I know it's a little bit loud. So I'm currently in Sweden. I have camped here for a few weeks. I was a short trip in Germany, and I'm going back to Germany in August to work on the album. I've had, again, like every time I talk to you guys, some setbacks with the album and some amazing things happening with the album. The setback is that because everything took so long for the drummer, my guitar player is now busy until end of August and can't record guitars until then, which sucks a little bit because I was hoping to be able to release the first single in September. But I'm learning to trust that there is a reason for everything, and I'm trying to find a way to maybe finish another song first so I can release that. But it's getting closer, and I will let you know everything. The good news is I have made a very clear strategic budget plan of everything I want to create, and I have also actually outlined how much everything costs. So musicians and studio time, the mixing engineer, the mastering engineer, printing CDs, and my dream of filming a live session. And I haven't really decided if I should be public with those numbers. The reason why I am telling you is because I'm going to do a Kickstarter campaign to fund the album, but also to just create a more like full experience, you know? I know some of you joined my Pledge Music campaign for Under Northern Skies, and there I did this looking back with the Glass Child project, where I filmed 20 live sessions of previously released songs. And it was so amazing. For the whole project of the album, I got to give a little bit of life to old songs. And I think you all enjoyed it. I loved it. And it just always becomes like an extra project within the project when I do a campaign like that. So I want to do a Kickstarter. It also enables me to create so many amazing things like merch, exclusive merch and posters. And I got this little Polaroid camera, so I'm gonna create unique Polaroid photos for everyone and handwritten lyric sheets. And then I also am going to, well, I already have created a little, I'm calling it a little coffee table book of quotes, short quotes and healing thoughts. So it's not a full-sized book like my other books. It's a smaller one, and it's meant to be something that you can have sort of in your little pocket and maybe read one comforting thought every morning with your coffee and live with that thought. So that's gonna be a part of the Kickstarter campaign, I'm thinking. So anyway, I have set up the Kickstarter page. I have created a few pledges, and I'm still thinking about them to make them even better. And the reason to why I'm telling you about my budgeting is because what I loved about Pledge Music was that you set the goal for how much I needed to fund the record, and then everyone could see how many percentages. So when it was funded, it said 100% funded. I didn't have to go out with the numbers of the money, because money is always so uncomfortable for me to talk about. I feel so uncomfortable about it. And it's mostly because my whole life is funded by people's charity. I have never had my own money. I've never been able to feel like I can sustain myself on my own. And I love knowing that what I do is possible because people want it to be possible. But it also makes me a little bit uncomfortable to just like go out with a number like that. So I thought I need people in that case to understand exactly where those money will go. And then that's why I wanted to outline. This is how much I can do if I reach that goal. This is what I can do if I reach that goal. If I even reach this goal, this is how much a live session will cost me. And maybe then I will feel a little bit better about it, and maybe people won't. Because my worst fear is that anyone will ever think that I take money and goes off to live, like a princess. Which is not what I do. I am scraping my pockets to be able to make this record. So anyway, I need your opinions about that because I can't really decide. Do you think I should outline the budgeting on my Kickstarter front page so that everyone knows what I'm trying to do with it? Should I just keep it on Patreon? Should I say, if you're interested in where the money goes, email me and I'll send you the budgeting? Please let me know what you think. What is the best? I need your guidance here. Yeah. I think that's all I have to say for this little spontaneous grass vlog. I am going to now. It's so pretty with the sun, the golden hour, and my orange hair is a little bit less orange, but it's still a bit orange. Oh, also, I have set up a staged concert the 8th of August, and I know for my last staged concert I said there will be no more staging concert until it's going to be a release show for the new single. But because everything takes a little bit longer than I wanted it to, I decided to sneak in a summer concert. So that's gonna be fun. Check that out if you want to. Otherwise, I will do another poll for what the next thing will be. Maybe it will be 33% on all three of them. Anyway, thank you for watching, my friends, and thank you for being you. And go read up on your archetypes, guys, because it's so fascinating. And find your archetype, read about it, and then embrace the shit out of it, because it's so nice to feel like you belong somewhere. Okay.